Welcome back to BizEdge Q&A Master Classes in Entrepreneurship, where we delve into the minds and experiences of those shaping the business future. I'm your host, Anna, and today we're joined by Mike Carey. Mike is the go-to expert in small business financial consulting at J Galt Finance, where he and his team are dedicated to empowering small business owners. They focus on building corporate credit through your EIN, securing better rates and more favorable terms while protecting your personal assets. Mike's extensive background in the field fuels his passion for educating entrepreneurs on the do's and don'ts of business financing. He's here to share invaluable insights into the current small business lending environment and corporate credit's pivotal role. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Are you ready to dive in?
Oh, I'm always ready.
All right. First question, what exactly is corporate credit and how is it different from personal credit?
Yes. So corporate credit is on the EIN of your business, where personal credit is on your social security number. And at J Galt, what we work to do is help to keep those two separate and to build the corporate credit, the EIN of the company itself.
Great. Thank you. What are the initial steps to establish corporate credit for a newly formed company?
Yes. So there's a 7-step process that we utilize at J Galt to build corporate credit. And one of the first things that we do is we have to make the company look fundable. To corporate America, a lot of those things are very, very small in what we would consider, but your registration with the Secretary of State needs to match the address that's on your tax return, needs to match the address that's on your website, and it has to be a physical address. We can't utilize PO boxes, we can't utilize ghost addresses or anything like that. There's goofy things out there like your telephone number needs to be a landline. It cannot be a cell phone. And as wild as it sounds, it needs to be registered with 411. Nobody uses 411 anymore. So then we get into the 4 different tiers of, once we get your business fundable, then we get into the 4 tiers of building corporate credit. In tier number 1, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you're still personally guaranteeing everything. You haven't built your corporate credit yet. So we're going to utilize some different creditors and vendors within that, like Granger, Uline, there's some fleet cards in there, but you're gonna have very small balances at that point. And the one thing with EIN credit and corporate credit is that there are 3 major factors that help build it. 1, the number of times that you use or turn that credit per month. You need to get many different creditors and vendors reporting to the corporate credit, throughout every month. It's the number of transactions that are recorded is very important. And obviously positive transactions are very important. And then the second is, how big are the spends that are being reported? The bigger the spends, the more corporate credit you're going to be, or more corporate capital you're going to have available to you at that time. And then obviously the third one is positive activity. And only 7% of creditors and vendors actually report to corporate credit. And at J Galt, we have determined and found all of those companies. So that's how we get to elevate that and expedite the building of that credit, as quick as what we can do.
Wow. Thank you so much for that insight. All right, third question. What common myths about corporate credit do you think need more clarification for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I don't know if there's necessarily really too many myths. It's more the education. What I'm finding as I go through this journey is that people just aren't educated on it. A lot of times, to be honest, people are like, this is real. This is really something I can do with my business. And it is. It's something that, we're going to be able to walk the path with our clients and help them achieve whatever goals and aspirations they have. And then that's the other part of it is that, we get to take a structured approach to this. And every business owner is going to have different goals and dreams of why they want to build corporate credit and why they're here. And I guess the biggest thing, maybe the biggest myth, is when you build corporate credit and you have strong corporate credit, you have access to capital that you would never have access to in the position that you would be with having a strong credit score. A lot of times it's 10x the amount that you're going to be able to get as a small business owner using your social security number. A lot of small business owners are used to going to the bank to get their lending. And a lot of times, it's 30, 60 days before you get a no. And then if you get a yes, which is 2 out of 10 times, it's going to be another 60 days before you can close. So, you're talking a total of 4 months that you probably have invested into that process where, with J Galt, we get you to the point to where it's point and click. You know whether you're recommended or not recommended, and you know why you're not recommended. And you get the opportunity to shop for different credit options online in your own suite in our portal or on our website. And you get to kind of cater it and tailor it to your own goals and dreams as to why you're going through this journey and why you want to build that corporate credit. You know, it could be fleet cards, it could be machinery and equipment, it could be fleet vehicles, real estate loans, lines of credit cards, anything along those lines that could help your small business become more successful. And, you know, with our coaching, it also helps you, you know, we're going to make your business look fundable, but we're also going to make you better business owners when it's all said and done, because, you know, we're going to show you the way to do it that makes things a lot cleaner and easier for you in the long run.
Sure. That sounds amazing. Thank you for sharing that insight. All right, the fourth question. Could you list some essential do's and don'ts for effectively managing corporate credit?
Yes, the do's first, you've got to be purposeful in your spend. You know, in order to do this quickly in the right way and the most efficient way and get this working as quickly as possible is to be purposeful in your spend and know that in tier one, you know, you're going to have to go buy a lot. If your business is just pushing paper, you know, you don't have a lot of expense out there. So you're going to have to be purposeful by saying that, what I mean is you're going to have to go buy a lot of toilet paper, paper towels, different things like that, you know, from a Granger or Uline, you know, because you got to get that spend and that reported activity has to be above $50 for them to report it. So, you know, you've got to be able to figure out different ways to utilize it and make sure that utilizing, you know, 3 or 4 different sources throughout that time frame. And then, you know, as you're building that corporate credit, you have to keep using them during that entire time frame in order to make sure that you're maximizing your efforts. You know, and then you get into those other tiers and, you know, you start getting fleet cards and you start looking at some of the credit cards and different options that are out there. You know, one of the major do's is to use it appropriately. Use it like you would have used it before. You know, use it like your personal guarantee is still on it. Just because it doesn't have a personal guarantee maybe tied to it, you know, once you get to the end game, that doesn't mean that it's just a free-for-all. I mean, you know, our job and our role is to make sure that we're monitoring what you're doing as you're growing that corporate credit and to make sure that you're utilizing it responsibly. So those are the do's and pay it back like you're supposed to. You know, that's the other thing. It's not going to do us any good to help you building corporate credit if you're late on a payment. You know, the don'ts, don't be late. Don't extend yourself. All $50 transactions. If your goal is to get to $150,000 worth of credit available to you, we're going to have to be able to show to Wall Street lenders that you're capable of managing that type of credit. We need our clients to maintain responsible actions within their business.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all of those pointers with us. Now, we have about 5 minutes left. So let's focus on a couple of key questions. If a business has poor credit, what are the options for securing financing and what steps can they take to improve their credit rating?
A lot of times, what we're finding is the businesses don't have any credit. It might not be poor credit. It's the fact that they haven't really been utilizing any of the creditors or vendors that are reporting to corporate credit. If there's negative activity out there, we've got to build up. You know, it's just going to take us more transactions. It's going to take more turns. It's going to take us a little bit longer to recuperate. No different than it is for personal credit. If you have a late payment on your personal credit, it's going to stick around out there for 2 to 3 years. And you've got to figure out how to build up underneath of that.
Now, to what extent does personal credit influence securing corporate loans, especially for startups?
Well, for startups, it's going to affect it until they can get some time under their belt is really what it comes down to. Building corporate credit doesn't happen overnight. I compare it to a gym membership. If you sign up for the gym and you don't go to the gym, you're not going to get in shape. But if you go to the gym, you know, 3, 4, 5 times a week, you know, within 6 to 9 months, you're going to achieve your goal. So building corporate credit is the same way. So they're going to have some skin in the game out of the gates. You know, they're going to have that personal guarantee out there until we can get that corporate credit built high enough to where we can take out whatever that initial startup fund loan was, or, you know, if they borrowed it from a family member or they borrowed it from the bank or they borrowed it against equity on their house or however they went about it. We guarantee in 12 months, you know, but it's going to take us 8 to 10 months to get us there.
Wow. Okay. Good to know. We're on the last couple of minutes here. What strategies would you recommend for leveraging corporate credit to foster growth while avoiding financial overextension?
And we touched on this a little bit earlier. You know, through our suite of products, we know exactly who it is that's going to be reporting. And that's usually the biggest hang up that people get. A lot of times what I hear from people is, man, I've been trying to do this for 7 years and I've gotten nowhere. And it's because they don't know who reports and who doesn't report. They might think they've got a corporate credit card, and they might have a corporate credit card, but it's still got a personal guarantee on it and it's not reporting. So it's really not doing them any good. And it helps, and we can expedite that process so much quicker is because we know exactly who those companies are, that 7% that report.
Wonderful. Great insight. Now, the last two questions, we have about a minute left. Are specific industries or types of businesses facing unique challenges in building and maintaining corporate credit?
Trucking companies are struggling with any type of lending right now.
Oh, wow.
In the corporate credit world, as long as we can build them up good corporate credit, we can get funding for them. But a lot of the large corporate banks or do small business lending, there's a moratorium on trucking companies right now.
Good intel there too. Now, the last question, how crucial is monitoring corporate credit regularly, and what tools or services would you recommend?
We utilize a company called CreditWise. CreditWise is the culmination of all 3 credit bureaus that report to corporate credit. For J Galt clients, what we do is we monitor it on a monthly basis for the first year to make sure that we're achieving the goals that we want to achieve. And then we check it quarterly thereafter to kind of keep a watchful eye on our clients to make sure that they're not overextending themselves and make sure that we're using it for purpose intended. That, to me, that's probably the biggest thing, is use as purpose intended. If your goal is to upsize your business, then we're going to help you upsize your business, but it's not to go on vacation.
Right.
We got to use it for purpose intended, because when you don't do that, that's when you get in trouble. That's where small businesses tend to get in trouble with the banks, even is when they're not using the funds for what you're supposed to be using it for. If you've got an operating loan, that's for operating expenses of your business. And that's what it's to be utilized for.
Yeah, it's great insight. Thank you so much for taking the time to enlighten us with all of this great information. We really appreciate your insights, and thank you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.